Welcome to Overnight Wisdom, a show where we sit with change makers, artists, business leaders, and thinkers. Each conversation is an invitation to slow down, to go deeper, and unearth the quiet insights that shape who we are. If you're seeking honest reflections, unexpected wisdom, and a deeper understanding of what it takes to not merely survive, but to thrive, you're in the right place. Welcome to another soul stirring episode. Today, we sit in deep conversation with Tendai Angela Rokkones, yogi, healer, disruptor, and truth teller. She's the first certified Black female yoga teacher from Zimbabwe, a woman who turned a law degree into a spiritual calling. In this chat, we explore what it means to resist through softness, to lead with breath, and to heal through presence. We talk about motherhood, memory, and the sacred labor of holding space for others and for ourselves. From her childhood in Zimbabwe to creating a wellness movement rooted in radical love, Tendai brings the kind of wisdom that stays with you. This is not just a conversation, it's a remembering, a reclamation, a ritual. So settle in. Hello, Ten. How are you doing today?
Hey Gigi, I'm doing good. I'm a bit tired. I went rowing this morning, was in the
Ooh.
gym, and went to work. My baby girl and husband came to pick me up from work, and it was super fun. We had a nice stroll in the sun.
Nice, very cool. I'm glad and I'm happy to hear that. And I think, there's something about the summertime. Life is just automatically better. Everything just seems a little bit more possible and optimistic.
Feel you on that. I feel as though I'm still waiting for that moment when the sun really penetrates and allows
Mm,
itself to like settle into like my hair follicles where I'm like, oh, this felt good. Like that's the sun rays that I know.
it will come. It will happen. Yeah. So I'm gonna jump right in. As you know, I like just to go straight to the meat. So you are in a space. I think for those people who might be listening or who have heard about Africans, our parents have a set amount of professions that we're allowed to do. It's like the doctor, the engineer, maybe in finance or business, and perhaps law. And then the final option, as that British Nigerian comedian said, like a disgrace to the family. And then comes Tendai, who is a yogi, right? You didn't even go becoming a musician or a writer or something. You went like the completely different route. So I just want to start there and acknowledge that. Whoa, you
I know
know?
it's crazy. It's crazier when you realize that I actually went to the University of Sydney to go study law and global and international studies, and then ended off as a yoga teacher. So I remember the day telling my dad I was sitting in my dorm room. I'd just come back from like a formal dinner. And I was like, Papa, I think I really want to be able to, do something different with my life. I told him what I wanted to do, and he said tonight, "Hey, my daughter, I think that you need to send me a PowerPoint presentation."
I love that.
I did it. I still have that PowerPoint presentation on my old laptop, and I've referred back to it a couple of times, but the last time I did was about like 2 years ago.
Mm.
And there were certain pointers that he interrogated and analyzed. It was like, you have to be able to hit these marks. And I remember telling him, "Don't worry, I got this,"
Mm.
because it's unheard of. I think for African children or African bodies to be in yoga or wellness or healing, because that's usually associated with being a witch doctor or you just constantly like ruining your life, like you're throwing it away. And of course, the money question comes in. And I remember I sat there and I was like, don't you worry, I'm going to do this. I remember I went over to the Caribbean. I went over to Bali. I studied like all things to do with yoga, anatomy, and I tied this back into the story about my mom who had slipped discs in her C7, and my mom had to get surgery and learn how to walk again. And I remember being 11 years old at that time and seeing the process that she had to go through, like having to come out of a swimming pool and having other people help her not having the confidence to dance in the same way.
Mm.
her not being able to even just reach the kitchen with her crutches from the bedroom. And I remember how seeing the look on my mom's face about how that made her feel, and also going over to yoga with her because it was a part of her rehabilitation. At the time, it was a crazy idea. You don't really mention this, in spaces that, hey, there's physiotherapy, there is visiting a psychologist, and then yoga therapy. What? And I remember mom saying to me, listen, like, I really want you to come. Reluctantly, I did go. And after that time, I felt very much called to understand, okay, what is this? But not for myself, for mom. Um,
When you're talking about that, I was thinking it's really difficult to envision Mama Rose like that. Like she's this woman, which she has all this power, she has this presence, and to
mhm.
see her having to start again, it's not even something I can imagine.
Yeah, I actually really view that as a privilege that I got to see my own mother inside that position.
Mm.
Because not only did I get to see her stop, I got to see her regain her strength again. And watching from that first step all the way up to how she is today, where she danced down the aisle when I was getting married, like I was the only person in the world that ever got married. And seeing her do that is that big reminder that anything is possible. I wanted to bring this up because I think a lot of the times I do bring up the story about mom going through what she went through because that was the very first interaction with yoga. But when I was sitting inside that dorm room in university and having to call my dad and being like, hey, my friend, I know that people have said to you that it's a disgrace if you are now going to be venturing off law. I promise you I'd be a fantastic lawyer, but let me tell you what I'm going to be is an even better yoga teacher and well-being program curator. I feel like that was rebellion and reclamation because yoga has always called me in the spaces that I needed most. It's always called me when I feel like I'm treading away from myself and I need to put those parts back together. And from my own history, from the upbringing that I've had, it's always made me feel at home within me. And I wanted to be able to give other people that opportunity to also feel that, but also develop my own education in that with the same grit that I did when I was studying law and global and international studies.
Oh, I love that for you. And with that, I'm going to segue into a question I actually have around in a space. I mean, I've been doing yoga for, I think, the better part of almost 20 years to exercise, relax, meditate, stretch. But in any class I've been to, I'm often the only Black person or one of the few people of color in that class. So, my question for you is in a space where Black and especially African bodies are rarely centered, why did that feel? I know you talked a little bit about it, but why did that feel like this is it? This is my calling. This is what I want to do.
Precisely because of that, because I
Mm,
didn't see anybody that looked like me. I didn't see anybody that had the same movement, body type, and spoke in the same language to the culture, to the heart, and to my soul in the same way. I didn't understand why I was the only Black person in yoga. I think I needed to be able to bridge that gap in my young adult years in order for it to make sense. So I became a yoga teacher. I am the first Black female certified yoga teacher in Zimbabwe. It's not something that I wanted to be. I didn't understand it. I don't understand why I'm still that. I needed myself to be the first and the last, that other people can see themselves represented in spaces of healing and in joy and in well being. And in all of this capacity where you got all the green and the sage and incense surrounding you, and you're with candles and you're drinking smoothies, because that's such it's so distant from what we have been shown in society. It's so different from what we have been shown in the media. We have many Black lawyers, we have many African lawyers, What we do not have are in this generation, I feel, are the yoga teachers, the healers, the people that will come over and show us softness. It's a rebellion for me. And it's that reclamation that we can do more. And by the way, like yoga is rebellion. The very first yogis practiced yoga as rebellion towards society. And within Western society and what we have known yoga to become, and within the yoga industry, it's become something that you do in yoga studios. But that's not what the real yoga is. A lot of what I do is about reclaiming that vagabond energy.
I think there's something quite brilliant in what you're saying because it is true that, I mean, perhaps across the world, Black women are supposed to be, yeah, not supposed to be, they are just strong. They hold the world together. And they always hold it from that position of nurturing, caring strength. But there's also a lot of strength in being soft. And that is not an image that is expected of Black women, just that softness, that peace, that, like you said, I'm a candle lover, like my house is covered in candles and like, diffusers, all of that nonsense. Like I love it, it gives me so much joy. Um, and yeah, I never really thought about it like that, but it's true. Like we are tough. We get things done, especially from an African perspective. Like we get things done. We hold this world quite literally together. And to think about it from that soft reclamation of self, I think that's absolutely beautiful. So I do want to ask you, like, your practice of yoga, because you've been doing this now for forever, more or less. And what has it revealed to you about your body? What has it revealed to you in terms of, like, say, your lineage, your truths that words never could?
That's a beautiful question. Definitely that the body remembers, the mind can forget. Emotional injuries manifest as dis-ease within the body. You can trick your mind all that you want into thinking that, oh no, this I'm healed from, oh, I'm okay in this. But your body will always remember, hence why the movement, the stillness will always come into you understanding your own self better. It's that self awareness that you gain from the practice. I've also I also understand from my lineage that my grandmother's prayers, my great grandmother, my mother's prayers are all whispered down my spine. I remember feeling this in one yoga class. And I remember having like tears running down my cheeks because it was literally just this reminder that, oh, wow, I was prayed for. I was asked to be here, that my presence over here is not a coincidence, that everything was meant to be, and that I am loved, I'm supported. And I just have to carry on just walking into my own future because I have this community of people that hold me, not even from this earthly realm, but also from above and of below, and that I'm all good. I don't think I was ever able to put that into words. And there are a plethora of things that I'm still not able to put into words that my practice has really shown me.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. And you are loved and you are protected. In drilling a little bit into your work and your practice, I mean, your presence in it, in and of itself, feels like an act of resistance. Um, and how do you stay grounded in that duality of being a healer and being a disruptor?
First of all, I must say, I am very honored to have the privilege of being a disruptor and a healer. I think I love causing cognitive dissonance within people who have had the privilege to only think about themselves. I come from a long line of people who believe that life is cyclical and that we're all working in unison, it's communal. That's the healing place of it. And I think that the yoga industry is very individualistic in its um in its way of being. I love being a disruptor and I love being a healer. And I think that this is a conversation. I don't think that they are two sides of a coin. I think that they're literally the same side. That it's a conversation. You actually need to be disrupted within your nervous system to understand that something is wrong. It comes into that poem that you need to allow the light to shine through those breakages because you can actually see yourself a lot more clearly, allow the wound to actually heal itself. When we are not faced with any form of challenge, you can't actually heal anything itself in yourself. I hope that my presence within each space allows people to understand and see what they need to heal within themselves
Oh, I love
or
that.
reconcile within
I love
themselves.
that. Um, Ten, I'm thinking about, I mean, I've had a lot of your classes. You've also facilitated sessions for my community. I do want to ask you, wellness now is an industry, right? It's a big one, and we see different versions of wellness, from putting the cucumbers on your eyes and resting in the spa, which is absolutely beautiful. I do that stuff too. But there's also just that this is not necessarily the entire version of wellness. Wellness, rest as resistance, or whatever we want to call it. But I do want to ask, what myths about wellness and worthiness, perhaps even success? Because I do want to talk a little bit about success, because ultimately you're also building your company, but maybe there's a follow up question. But what myths have you had to let go in order to become who you are today?
Hmm. In terms of worthiness, I understand now that worthiness is not earned, that you are already born worthy. Success, success is not linear. We are so used to this idea that there's a carrot dangling in front of you and that this is what success is, and you never fully arrive at it. I have had the opportunity to have various people within my yoga classes, ranging from millionaires all the way down to somebody who had said to me tonight, I actually can't even pay for a class today. I can only pay with the lemons that have come from my garden. And I was so happy to receive those lemons, you guys. I was so excited. The next time she actually brought mangoes. She knows who she is and she's going to be listening into this. And I loved it. I feel like we have got this whole idea about what life is and success is completely wrong. And it's about being able to laugh, honestly. It's about having the people around you that want the best for you and that lift you up. And, there's this one quote within I think it's the Bhagavad Gita that says, you only really encounter your own nervous system within life. Like, if you are truly at peace with yourself, you appreciate every moment around you. And I think at this moment, that's the version of success that I like. It comes down into Maya Angelou's version of success is liking what you do, how you do it. And I vibe with that because this thing about it's a quota, getting how much money, hey, I think that's exhausting. There's nothing wrong with that. But for me and from where I am, my version of success is sitting down with my daughter, 7, and watching my husband do the monster. And she is cackling and laughing, and her head is falling back, and she's running towards me because she's like, Mama, help, help, help. And knowing that there's light beaming into our house and we've had a good meal. I think it changes within each place that you are inside your life. In terms of the myths in wellness, oh, that's a big one because well-being has always shown us within the industry that wellness is a product, that you will put the cucumbers, that you will get the face mask, that you are going to get the LED um, red light therapy. By the way, I still do want that one. If anybody can just like hook me up, be very happy.
I think
But
there's one of
I
those
digress.
things. No, but hold on. Let's talk on that. Because I think there's actually one of those things you can actually buy now and plug in and put in your face. My sister has one of those. Yeah.
Which sister?
One in the US.
Okay, hey, Han, we're not going to mention your name, but you know what I'm asking you for. Okay, to come back in, I think that well being has become a commodity. And this has been shown from the history of yoga, from the authenticity of yoga, and it actually being squashed down by colonialism for 200 years and then re emerging back within the States as a fitness routine. And now it's only offered within studios. And that if you go into a yoga studio, you can spend 60 minutes inside that place and then you come out and you're feeling great. The thing is, if you are coming out of that yoga class and you are still irrational, if you're not taking a pause, if you are still going at people, you haven't practiced your yoga, because I believe that yoga is practiced off your mat. Your yoga practice within that studio or wherever you are is supposed to make you a better person inside your relationships with the guy that you go and get your bread from or the woman. It's supposed to make you a better person to the bus driver. You're supposed to treat people better and with more kindness and compassion because it's oozing from you. I don't care if you can get into a full wheel or into full blown splits. Who are you?
Mm. So I think we need to go get some of the world politicians into yoga. Maybe we can learn it
Oh,
them too.
I am here to teach them. Trippy Toad, Tendai Angela Rokkones.
I love it. Okay, so I want to talk a bit about building a business, right? Because ultimately, yes, this is something you love to do, and sometimes you exchange your service for lemons and mangoes. But at the end of the day, you are also building a really beautiful business. I think that at least around within this region, people like me, people different from me see you in this space and we're just like, oh my gosh, yes. Like there's nothing so remarkable for me as walking into a class. And like my teacher is somebody who kind of looks like me, like whatever it is in whatever capacity. Um, but I also recognize that building a business is also it's a struggle. And I think building a business, being someone different within the space and presenting as you present, you have a lot to balance. So what has the process of building a business in, I will say, this unforgiving place sometimes, what has it taught you about leadership and what your limits are, and perhaps even how you let things go?
So I have built a business in various places. And I will say about being within the Scandinavian region that I had to listen more. I have learned about leadership right now to listen deeply, to listen to what is unsaid, to listen to what people want, and to see what the gap is in this industry, but what is also feared, because I do feel like I am building this business from the soil of my soul. I I haven't seen this particular thing being done before, especially within this region. And I'm putting my whole heart out there and I'm putting my soul out there, but at the same time having to have my boundaries up so that I'm not exposed, because exposure, that is basically just you only being seen. And I believe in expression. I've had to become a lot more calculating, a lot more strategic, and as I said, really listen in to what is not being said. Because, even the other day, getting rejected for a grant and having to see that this grant application was flawless. Flawless. Okay, what is the pushback? What is the fear? Society doesn't want it. These people don't feel like they want it, but I have a whole group of people that say that they want it. So show me that tenacity. What is not being said? What are the pushbacks? But now I can see who doesn't want this to actually work. And unfortunately, for people who don't want this to work, Oh, you don't know what I've been raised by.
Like, you don't know the stuff I'm made of.
You don't know. That is stardust, honey, and soil and clay, and a whole bunch of other things.
Mm,
But I definitely feel that it's taught me a lot about leadership in terms of listening more, um, and the resilience of that, and having the courage and the bravery to pick my boots up and continue.
mm,
I It's a lot also about honesty and authenticity, because I can't be the different person when I go out and do this work and come home and be a different person.
mm,
I have really had to keep myself sacred and understand my own knowledge and my own grounding and
mm,
be true to myself
mm,
as I build this, because
mm,
I wanted to have longevity and I wanted to be sustainable, but not just, in the way in which we talk about sustainability of just something that is there. I believe that this is going to be soulful. And
mm,
even if the impact assessment shows that somebody was able to feel into themselves a lot deeper and make decisions based on themselves and not what society told them, then so be it,
mm.
because that's still an impact.
Absolutely. I was just reflecting on the struggle, and I will call it struggle, to build a business, a concept from ground up in a place where people do not think there is a space to be filled, even though there are literally thousands of people begging for that space to be built. And then also reflecting on it from the position of, you talked earlier about, your husband and your daughter 7, who also happens to be my godchild, so she's also my youngest child. And I think about just what it takes to balance being a present parent, a present mother. Like, the house is another, the food on point. You're the wife the husband needs. You're the mother who's always happy, and you're ready when the kids are, there. They need your attention. And you're such a present mom. I reflect on that a lot, and just how that shifts priority. I've been building businesses for a long time, and as I build those businesses, I now try to reflect on where my priorities lie and what I no longer even allow to take headspace. And the things that would normally take headspace before I had kids. And now I'm just like, I don't have time. Like, the African accent in me comes in. I'm just like, let me channel my mother. I don't have time for this nonsense. Like,
Shit, did we all grow up in the same house?
just like, I don't have time for this. So what do I need to focus my time and attention on? So I guess my question for you on this is, how do you balance building a business, being a leader, trying to grow, and also showing up as a mother, which is something that I know you absolutely love to be,
Yeah.
and also as, a wife, a friend, a partner? How do you balance all of it?
Breathe. And I also have got my rituals. I've got non negotiables that I just have to stick to, because it feels like it's how I keep myself together, and I always want to ooze from that cup. I've also stopped calling it a cup, because who even said that we are made of cups? I ooze from an ocean. Like, friend, this is an ocean. From this ocean, I have to have my breath work, my teas. I have got my ashwagandha that I have. I make delicious homemade foods, and I ritualize and romanticize my life. That's the way that I stay afloat. I romanticize the time that I have with my friends,
Mm,
and so blessed to have you guys, and just we laugh. I think I chose well.
mm. Oh my gosh, like, whenever you're in town, I'm rarely like just overflowing in wine and fun and laughter and like just the best of time. But whenever we know that like you and Dee are coming into town, oh my God, we're just like, we gotta prepare because it could be a Sunday where we're staying up until 4 a.m.
It's so crazy because we really do. We up until 4 a.m. And as these like parents, parent of two, like parent of one over here, and it's still continued. And I love it. I appreciate that time because it allows you to feel light. That's joy. And that's the pouring that I talk about. Pouring from people who are also oceans and want the best for you. And that's where the flow is.
Mm.
I've had to become very strict with myself, especially after becoming a mama. Like, who do I want inside my life? Who do I want around seven? Um, of course, I am not only wanting like the millionaires and the great, like, economists.
I'll take it.
I
Take
also
it. I take it.
I also want the people who are going to be when 7 to 16 years old being like, I'm gonna go inside that club and take her out. Don't worry, Tendai. Which also maybe probably happens to be you. But like I
I
want
will find her and we're gonna have a chat.
I feel like you get into a dance battle before you have the chat.
Yeah, 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 yeah. We dance, but then we go out and we talk.
And say, don't tell mom. All right. But I want this diverse group of people around her and to raise her. And I want her to understand what womanhood is, what girlhood is, and everything from watching me, from the aunties around her, from the uncles around her. I've had to become strict and have my boundaries over there because the legacy now is not just, me, myself, and I. It is a heartbeat.
It's interesting also you frame it like that because it's not so much what we tell our kids, it's what they see us do.
Mhm.
Like how we say no, how we hold boundaries, how we ask questions, how we create space or take space. And that's one of the things I see like with my child with just that idea of there is such a huge responsibility in how we create the spaces that they remember that shapes them. And also with you, and we talk about this quite often, just I mean, it's a privilege to be around my kid. It's a privilege to be around seven. So not just anybody can take that space. And I think it's quite important because in terms of just appreciating the value that we have gotten from like motherhood. And I used to be one of those people 10 who was like, because I've always been just like high powered woman, was
Mhm.
quite always quite ambitious. I want to do this, I want to do that. And I did. And I was always worried that I did not want to lose myself in motherhood, that I wanted to have my own identity. And honestly, right now, I mean, I have my identity, but the one I love the most? Mom. It's pretty cool.
And I love that about you because I see it. And we've had these conversations, ongoing and seeing you as mom, but also Chichi, seeing the way you've merged mom with that ambitious woman because it's one and the same. I don't think we have to choose. I think like yes, of course there are gonna be spaces where, you have to gonna do one or the other, but you chose not to. And you chose, I'm going to integrate all of this. I brought Seven over into Diversify Summit last year. And I remember being on a panel about psychological safety within the workplace. And I was like, nah, this is psychological bravery. And I heard Seven in the background being like, "Ugh." And I was like, okay. But that's mommyhood. It is having and allowing your children to be a part of your life because that is life. I grew up where children were really a part of your life. That you go over to barbecues, you go over to conferences.
I think it's interesting because, I mean, I see you, you see me. We draw a lot, for better, for worse, from our parents and from our mothers. And that's teaching me so much about the responsibility that we have in this role that we hold. Also, I think in the role that we hold in being business owners
Mm.
and showing, especially our daughters, that it can be done and they can do it in their own way without apology. I have been designing every space I hold with parents in mind because what are we building for? Whatever conversations we're having, whatever future we're trying to create, what are we doing it for if it's not the children, whether or not your parents? Is creating a better future for what comes after. And as you say, in countries in Africa, for example, children are just a part of life. They go to barbecues, they
Mhm.
go to parties, they're all there. I do want to ask you about, you hold a lot of space for people 10. I want to say like 60%, 70% of your work is holding space and seeing people when that active listening you talk about. How do you hold space for yourself while holding space for others?
Figured out very early on who I was, and I've had to stay very true to that. So, a lot of what people see now of holding space for others and it being done with ease is because I had to become very resolute in who I was so that I was not swayed. I think that there's this one proverb that says, if the roots are strong, you don't have to worry about the wind. My roots are very strong. I know that I understand myself in a way that nobody else can. And I've had to work and do a lot of meditation and a lot of breath work and the whole shebang just in order to practice the pause. And it's in that pause that I hold space for myself. It's in the inhale and the exhale that I bring myself back and I'm like, okay, what is this about? How am I actually going to tackle this? Because I ultimately know that it's not just about me in situations, it's about everybody and the energy within a room. I hold my space by that pause, and it's a lot of work that had to be done there. In terms of the joy and in terms of what I've had to, how I maintain it, that is embodiment, but with other people. So that is embodiment with Seven, where I'm giving her a foot massage and I'm kissing her toes and telling her how much I love her because that also regulates my nervous system. It is laughing over a glass of wine with my friends, with you, with Didrik, and like just being. It is feeling into what each moment is giving me. I would also say gratitude. My name, Tendai, literally means gratitude. And that's a constant reminder that I have to be in the present moment and grateful for what is. And when I say the present moment, it's not this thing of the toxic positivity about, we're not going to forget the past. We're going to not
We
think
don't
about
like
the future.
that.
We don't like that. It is, hey, what is in this moment that actually is feeling good? And I'm actually going to be honest and feel it
Mm.
because I really do think like as as women and then as black women, as African women, we allow joy to infiltrate in those moments, and then when you are in a space where joy is not really accepted, sometimes you have that question in your mind where you're like, should
Mm.
I,
Mm.
is this okay? I have intentionally this year been like, it's okay. So each time that that question comes up in my mind about, is this okay? Can I? I'm like, yeah, it's okay. I'm going
Mm.
to do it. Because I feel, yeah, it's the maintenance now of those roots.
Mm. Absolutely. 10, what does courage look like for you these days? Is it quiet? Is it loud? And maybe this is like, a great segue from like what you said previously. Maybe it's the
Mm.
showing up in the space and not having to think, should I? Because you just do. But what does it look
Mm.
like for you?
Courage actually these days looks quiet,
Mm.
which I had thought beginning of this year that courage was going to look outwardly brave and outwardly courageous. It isn't. It's the quiet courage that comes out where I'm like, I'm going to do this.
Mm.
It's the things that I tell myself, and my line for this year to be incredibly candid and to be incredibly honest and uncensored has been, it's going to turn out better than you expect.
Amen. Mm.
So I have been taking all of the chances and then saying to myself, it's going to turn out better than you expect. So even if I get a rejection, a dismissal, a refusal, I'm like, oh, all good. It's going to turn out better than I expect.
Mm.
Courage for me now looks like trying.
Yeah, I love that. 10, if younger 10 could see you now, what would surprise her the most?
Y'all met younger 10?
I mean, I met her yesterday. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Ah! Younger 10. Oh, wow. Okay. It's emotional. I think that younger 10 would be surprised that it really all worked out. Younger 10 would be surprised that we did it and not on societal terms. Younger 10 would be in tears that that we're still soft and that we're allowing ourselves to be seen as soft. Younger 10 was deputy head of scripture union, honey. And and very much rigid and yes, very cool. Younger 10 was cool
Mm,
and very sexy. Younger 10 was a vibe.
mm. I
But
love
she'd be
that.
proud of the fact that we are vibrant and we're still the same
Mm,
and that we feel good inside our bodies. 7, my daughter has been walking past a picture of me recently where she'll walk past the picture and be like, da, da, da. Now we know that that means that one. And I go and I pick it up and she kisses the photo. It has been melting every bit of my thug rigid heart because younger 10, I think, is also smiling because she realizes that somewhere in the future her daughter is kissing her back.
love that. And I love all of this for you. I think, if I may add, I think younger 10 would also be maybe not even surprised. Be like, of course, that you own every room you walk into. And I think you just have a way of making everyone feel seen and loved and held, like it's one of those things where, I'm so grateful. I'm not going to cry, but I'm so grateful I met you. I'm so grateful you're in my life. And I mean, we've had difficult times, not with each other, with the world around us and the people around us. And but just to have somebody you can call and be like, 10, let me tell you some shit. And you're like, who do I need to fight?
Mhm. And my line is always, who do I need to throw rotten tomatoes at? I will go over to their house. Just give me their name and their address, and I'm there. Also, I'll change the rotten tomatoes to something else so that y'all don't know it's me.
Yeah. I love that. So I think I'm also going to thank younger 10 because whatever the younger 10 that I did got you here, and just who you are in a room and the joy you bring to every space you show up in, you occupy. It's just how you make people feel better. And I think that is something that I hope she's incredibly proud of, because it's not a skill that can be taught. It's just the presence and who you are. And it's a beautiful thing. So just wanted
Thank
to
you
say
so
that.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for
Well,
those flowers. And as you know, I'm always going to give you flowers back. Look at what you're doing, honey. Mm.
I've been wanting to I've been wanting to do this though. Like, this thing is for me. I feel like this is a
Mhm.
lot of things I do and have been quite successful at has also been for me, but I just feel like this is good. This is reconnecting me to my soul, to people who just move and shake things in the spaces they hold. And yeah,
Mhm.
it's a privilege to,
Mhm.
I know you, I love you, but it's still just a privilege to be here having this chat.
Mm.
And just a last question, because we can sit here and talk forever, and we'll probably just continue talking after this wraps up, because why not?
Yeah.
Drink some wine. uh, but just a quick thing. What was a piece of wisdom that you'd offer
Cool.
to another woman who's standing at the edge of her own healing?
Going to give 3 pieces over here.
Okay.
That's a beautiful question. Number 1 would be what I have mentioned before. If the roots are strong, you don't have to worry about the wind. Do the work. Do the work on yourself.
Mm.
and feel it all. I know it sounds and feels scary, but feel everything because that is exactly where your power is. It's in you being terrified. Your power exists within the pivot. It is when things go wrong and you have to find that strength, and that's where you are. The next one would be Kumanya Hakuskushika, which is a Shona proverb that means running doesn't always mean that you're going to get there. You can try and, outpace yourself all that you want. Give yourself time. And I guess that feeds into the third one, which is practice the pause. It's in the pause that you're going to understand and feel what your next step is. To elaborate on that last one, there was a strategy that I was taught, and I was taught it in my formative years, and I've stuck with it, and that's SOS. So it is stop, observe, strategize. So even if you are in a space, and this comes from your own self awareness, understanding what your own trauma response is to situations. Listen, trauma doesn't have to be anything massive that has happened to you. It can just even be a conflict that's in front of you that your moral mind and your ethics do not agree with. So if you find yourself in a trauma response, whether it's freeze, fawn, fight, or flight, practice it. Stop, observe, strategize. It not only makes you a powerful person, but I think it allows you to listen into the wisdom that is already sung and whispered in between and all throughout your spine, because it exists. And your grandmother, your mother, and every other person in your lineage has passed on wisdom towards you. Feel it and embody it.
That was so beautiful. Oh my gosh. I have like some really amazing people in my life. Like, look at me here. Ah, I know, 10. I mean, the wisdom in you is remarkable. I feel like I learned so much from you. Thank you for that generosity of spirit that you embody. I love you. Thanks for being here. Thanks for sharing. And I look forward to having you back. So
Ah,
thank you so much.
all the feels. I love you so much. Thank you so much for having me. If it's okay, can I actually, because even seeing those last pieces of wisdom and like over there, I really want to finish off with like the thing that I say after class.
Okay.
Because yo, and then you can also go.
Okay.
Also, Chichi, look how gorgeous you're looking. Please can everybody who's actually like tuning in just like look at her. So place your hands up to your forehead. Clarity of mind. May you know which thoughts are yours and which ones are the opinions of others. May you not be trapped by dogma or imprisoned by your own thoughts. Place your hands towards your lips. Clarity of speech. May your words be filled with healing and not harm. May you use your words to build up. The great poet Hafiz said, may the words you speak become the house that you live in. Which type of house would you live in this present moment? Place your hands towards your feet. Clarity of journey. May you run towards your pain, your purpose, and your passion. May you never tire of doing the right thing and taking the next right step. The future you has already done this. May you carry on dancing in the direction of your dreams. Your desires have already been fulfilled. Place your hands up to your heart. All is well, all is well, all is well. You are so loved. Thank you so much, Gigi. Thank you so much for your presence and thank you so much for being. And I appreciate you and I appreciate our friendship and our sisterhood so much. You're
So,
powerful and you're great.
oh, thank you, my love. Thank you. Thank you. All right. We'll talk soon.
Talk soon.
Thank you for spending time with us on Overnight Wisdom. If this conversation moved you, inspired you, or made you pause, please like, leave a comment, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. You can follow the show wherever you get your podcasts And if you're feeling generous, a rating or review goes a long way in helping others find us too. Until next time, stay curious, stay tender, and may the wisdom you need find you exactly when you're ready.